Take On Me, Aha. I wonder which boy band or which girl band were on the poster plastered on your walls when you were growing up. What was it? Take That? Was it One Direction? Was it the Beatles? You as old as that? Or was it the Monkees? Who was it for you? Was it David Cassidy? That was my sister's one. Well, 80s icons, Aha, have decided to come out of retirement with new music and a huge new arena tour. Morton, Mags and Paul explained why this comeback just felt right.
We want to do the same, not until we decide to do it. You know, we've been away for about 5 years, having done other things. So I've had a great 5 years myself, which has given me more of a, made me more interested in doing something with Paul and Magna again. I've had a very good time.
It takes 5 years from time to time.
No, but it was necessary for me to do some things on my own things musically, and I've had that opportunity, and it's been very, very good for me. But it's also I've had that out of my system, as it allows for something else that I could possibly then do with Paul and Magna, and then a couple of years back, Paul and I started to just look at songs, not with a view to do an album with the band, but just for the sake of doing it. Just look at songs, test my voice on a couple of things that he had, and we did that without really any agenda at all, which is a sort of there's nice freedom to it.
I can imagine that because with no pressure, just to go in, because obviously an artist sings and you make music whether you're on stage or not, really, don't you? It's part of you, surely.
Yeah, it's not a job, really.
No, don't tell anyone that, though, because they won't want to pay you.
That's a different matter.
But a few years ago, you were quoted as saying...
It may still be worth something, so...
I think it may. You were quoted to say that it was more likely that ABBA would reform. I mean, what changed your minds, or are ABBA on the way?
Well, we're not always the same mind. I think that's a quote from Magna.
Right, yeah.
I still hold to that.
I love it, absolutely.
It's in the
works. but you aren't back for good. You're saying it's just the one album, the one tour, four UK dates?
Nothing is for good, really, and you learn that over time, that you do things in periods, and it's a healthier approach to know that it's a finite thing, and you're in it now. If you want to do something, it now is now, as opposed to just fall back in or fall into a kind of I don't know, you can get into some sort of monotonous drive in a way, and you just you lose really your the immediacy of things.
Well, we promised not to do a string of farewell tours. That one's already done now, so we can't really do it again.
Well, he didn't stop Frank Sinatra. I mean, crikey.
The first final farewell tour is always a good thing, I guess.
But what are you looking forward to most, getting back on stage now? You've done the recording, you've had the fun recording and no stress. So what are you looking forward to with your live appearances?
Just to be, to go back on stage, to play the songs, to connect with people, and that's what it is.
The sound checks.
Do you like sound checks?
I am glad that we have them.
Yeah.
Do I enjoy them? Yeah, I am actually starting to not accept not to enjoy things.
Well, do you know, I think that's a great way. I think we sort of grow up, don't we, and suddenly realise, actually, just enjoy things, because you've got to do them. You might as well have fun doing them.
Yeah, because it affects everything, really. It really does.
My producer tells me that back in the day, one of you used to do a much applauded handstand on a skateboard while on the stage. Now, who was it who used to do it?
That would have been Magna.
Right. Come on,
that was a panic move to try to incorporate some kind of showmanship into our first tour. I wouldn't advise it for anyone. Although the first, I think that was one of the early learning curves of planning a show, because our first show was in Perth in 86, and I think I made the decision to enter on a skateboard after soundcheck, between soundcheck and the first ever show, and without checking the fact that there would be new leads covering the stage where I was about to launch myself. So after that, I learned that you have to kind of plan maybe a few hours in advance and not make it on the
involve the technicians.
I sort of landed flat in my stomach and knocked the wind out of me on the first ever show, and pure adrenaline got me back up.
We have footage from that first show, and I think we spent most of the time off stage than on stage. It was like, where to go now?
We're celebrating by getting off stage as soon as we can.
A great story there, a brilliant one. I tell you what, if you want to check out what they look like now, go to our Twitter page and the Mark Forrest show, or at Sadie Nine as well, and there's the picture of them, and I must admit they are still very gorgeous. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm saying it. There we go. So 80s pin-ups, aha, there's more of them on the way, so don't go anywhere. But first, let's hear a track from their new album. This is The Wake.
Can't change the one you are, can't change the one you love. Lower your guard.
Oh, I like it. Do you? I like that one. That was Aha with the new single, The Wake. The boys have come out of retirement with a new arena tour and a new album. But how do they find it stepping back into the public eye?
It's this and that. You can easily lose yourself in it because you're on repeat. It's impossible to go through interviews after interviews and not start to repeat yourself. And you get fed up with yourself, really. So that's a challenge. But you learn to just find a way. But I do think that none of us have really been good. Certainly, I haven't at making the excitement and the sort of the level of intensity by which I do the music that I respond to. It doesn't come across, when I speak about it.
I think as you were saying earlier, we've all learned as we get older that just enjoy the moment, because you can't get rid of it. It's part of the job. There you go, and you're going out on tour. You've got to talk to loads of people like me and say, I get the same questions all the time, which I hope not all the time. But can I ask, what advice would you give to your younger selves? If you could go back and say to yourselves, what advice would you give yourselves?
Keep the faith in what you're doing it for, why you're there. And while I was saying that, I've always been pretty good at that. But at the same time, we were when we hit it, when we made it in '85, it was a colossal. That had a colossal impact. It changed everything, and it was very loud, and it never stopped. It was just on and on, and it took us away from being a band. We stopped feeling that like a band, and feeling that the whole attention was on other things, wasn't the way we looked and whatever, anything that really had no interest to us. It affected us quite a lot over some time during that first year, into the first year, and we could have relaxed a little more about it and just carried on more sort of relentlessly.
Can you understand why One Direction, that's the big music band, boy band from England, of course, they're taking a year out? Can you sort of understand them doing that?
Absolutely.
I reckon 5 years is a minimum.
Yeah, we did 7 years. That seemed to work.
I think their fans would be so upset. Don't do it. I thank you so much for chatting to us. I really do. And what would
that
you
was a general advice. It wasn't necessarily specifically to them.
Well, in a few years' time, you never know, they might take more of a break. But I do understand it, though. And I do understand that you, as musicians...
You know what? You have to you have to keep finding it again. And it doesn't come from the success you've had. So you must, I think, as an artist, relax about what everyone shouts at you, that you need to pick up, from having success. You need to just keep pushing. You have to find that again in yourself from the place you found it the first time. So you have to just let everything go and then pick it up again.
Morton, Mags and Paul, aka the 80s pin-ups, Aha, with their advice on enjoying life in a boy band.